Feel this truth deep in your heart. The dark forces surrounding you have no power before the divine light in this sacred moment, as the words of this prayer resonate in your soul. A celestial warrior is already unsheathing his flaming sword to defend you. It's no coincidence that you're listening to this message today. Your spirit was seeking protection. And the universe has answered. Saint Michael the Archangel, the most powerful of celestial defenders, heard your silent call even before you pronounced his name. That feeling of oppression, that inexplicable weight you carry inside, those doors that seem to close before you. Everything is about to change. There are invisible forces that can block your path, shroud your life in a fog of confusion and difficulty. But there is also a divine power capable of sweeping them away with a single gesture. Negative spiritual bonds can be severed. Dark clouds of envy can be dissolved. Invisible chains holding you back can be broken by a celestial presence that is older than the stars, more powerful than darkness, more determined than any adversity. If you feel this prayer is already touching your spirit, write in the comments, Saint Michael, free me my path, and let this invocation become even more powerful through your faith. O glorious Saint Michael the Archangel, Prince of the heavenly hosts, you who stand before the throne of the Most High with your sword of light, turn your merciful gaze toward me in this moment. I invoke you with humility and deep faith, aware that no battle is too great for you, no darkness too thick for your radiant light. You, who defeated Lucifer and his rebel angels, know every strategy of darkness, every hidden snare of envy and human malevolence. You, who bear the insignia of divine victory and armor forged by eternal wisdom, are my refuge in this time of uncertainty, my fortress against forces I cannot see but feel weighing on my life like a mantle of lead. Saint Michael, in this moment I ask you to wrap my life with your celestial mantle of protection. I feel that negative forces have tried to penetrate my existence, sowing doubts, creating obstacles, fueling conflicts. Perhaps I don't see them with the eyes of flesh, but my spirit perceives their presence like a cold shadow attempting to suffocate my inner light. I feel the weight of envious glances, of words spoken with malice, of dense energies seeking to steal my peace and divert my divine path. These forces manifest in inexplicably complicated situations, in suddenly tense relationships, in opportunities that seem to slip away just when they were within reach. I recognize these signs as the imprint of negative interference operating beyond the veil of visible reality. Powerful Archangel, you who carry the scales of divine justice, now weigh every curse, every negative energy, every envy directed against me and my family. Nothing escapes your penetrating gaze. Nothing resists the force of your flaming sword. Where there is darkness, you bring light. Where there is falsehood, you reveal truth. Where there is malevolence, you restore divine order. Your mighty wings sweep away the mists of illusion. Your breath dispels the miasma of negativity. Your gaze incinerates any entity that dares approach with evil intentions. I pray, Saint Michael, cut with your sword every negative bond that keeps me imprisoned. Sever the invisible threads of envy that others have woven around my life. Dissolve the dark clouds of curses that may have accumulated above my path. Free my mind from thoughts of fear, my heart from bitterness, my soul from doubt that arises when negative forces seek to distance me from the divine source. Every toxic bond, every unhealthy attachment, every influence that drains my vital energy, may all be cut by the sharp edge of your celestial sword, which cuts what is false and preserves what is true, which separates shadow from light with divine precision. As I pronounce this prayer, I visualize you, majestic warrior of light, descending with the speed of lightning to surround my existence. I see your armor reflecting the light of heaven, your determined gaze making every evil entity tremble. I feel the beating of your mighty wings dispersing the mists of confusion and negativity. Your presence is like a flame that purifies, a wind that renews, a dawn that announces a new beginning. Free from every dark influence, the ground itself seems to vibrate beneath your steps. The air charges with sacred electricity. The boundaries between worlds thin when you approach in response to this invocation made with sincere heart. Saint Michael the Archangel, enter the rooms of my home, the corridors of my workplace, the paths of my relationships. Where you find envy, Replace it with blessings. Where you discover curses, transform them into opportunities for spiritual growth. Where you perceive negative energies, transmute them into vibrations of love and light. Leave no corner of my life inaccessible to your protection. No situation without your illuminated guidance. Visit every room of my dwelling, from basement to roof, purifying the air, neutralizing harmful energy residues, restoring vibrational harmony that nourishes body and soul. Extend your blessing to the objects surrounding me, to photographs of loved ones, to symbols of faith I cherish, so that everything belonging to me becomes an extension of your sacred protection. You who know the secrets of heaven and earth, help me discern what is genuine from what is deceptive. Teach me to recognize the signs of envy before they can hurt me, to perceive negative energies before they can take root in my life. Give me the wisdom not to feed these forces with my fear, but to dissolve them with unwavering faith in the divine protection you represent. Sharpen my spiritual senses so I can distinguish between what nourishes my soul and what impoverishes it, between relationships that elevate me and those that drag me down, between genuine opportunities and traps, disguised as gifts. O Saint Michael, warrior of eternal light, I pray you create around me an impenetrable circle of protection. May every arrow of envy break before reaching me. May every word of curse lose its power in the air. May every negative energy dissolve like mist in the sun when attempting to approach my aura. Establish angelic sentinels at the four corners of my existence, faithful guardians who watch day and night over my peace and spiritual well-being. May this circle of protection be like a diamond fortress, transparent yet impenetrable, flexible yet indestructible, invisible to human eyes yet luminous and intimidating to any entity operating in shadow. As I invoke your protection, Saint Michael, I already feel a change in the atmosphere surrounding me. It's as if the air becomes lighter, as if an invisible weight begins to lift from my shoulders. This is proof that your presence is not a simple hope, but a tangible reality. For those who invoke you with sincere faith, you always respond. Even when your intervention is as silent as a breath of wind or as subtle as a ray of light at dawn, signs of your presence may manifest in different ways. A sudden sensation of warmth in the center of the chest, an inexplicable scent of flowers or incense, a shiver of energy running down the spine. Mental clarity emerging after weeks of confusion. Teach me to recognize these signs as your celestial signature, confirmation that my prayer has been heard and divine action is already underway. O glorious Archangel, I ask you not only to drive away evil, but to transform every negative energy into blessing. May the envy of others become for me an opportunity to shine more brightly. May every attempt at cursing convert into a channel through which divine graces can flow more abundantly in my life. May hostile energies become fertile ground on which to build a stronger faith and deeper connection with the divine. In this way, even what was meant to harm me will become an instrument of my spiritual evolution, living testimony that when we are under celestial protection, even the poisoned arrows of the adversary can transform into ladders toward heaven. Saint Michael, teach me also to forgive those who, consciously or unconsciously, have directed thoughts of envy or acts of malevolence against me. Help me understand that they often act from fear, ignorance, or pain. Do not allow my heart to become a dwelling for resentment, but transform it into a sanctuary of compassion and understanding. Only then will your protection be complete. Not just a shield against external evil, but also a healing of my inner world. I ask for the strength to pronounce words of forgiveness, even when the wound is still fresh, to send light even to those who have tried to darken my path, to respond with love even when human instinct would push me toward retaliation. This is the greatest victory. Not only being protected from evil, but becoming ourselves bearers of that same protective light. We invoke Prince of the heavenly hosts, while you fight for me the battles I cannot see. Infuse me with courage to face those destined for my path of growth. Give me strength not to yield to despair when shadows seem thickest, Not to doubt the light when night appears endless, your example reminds me that even the greatest darkness cannot prevail when we are armed with faith and divine determination, just as you did. Not hesitate to confront the most powerful of fallen angels. Inspire me not to retreat before the challenges I find on my path. Knowing that every trial overcome brings me a little closer to the most authentic and luminous version of myself, I pray, Saint Michael. Purify also the places where I live and work. May your sword of light pass through every room, every corridor, every corner, dissolving residues of heavy energies, negative memories, discordant vibrations that might have accumulated over time. Restore harmony, peace, the free flow of vital energy in all spaces of my daily existence. May the air itself become lighter and more nourishing. May light seem brighter. May sounds be more harmonious after your purifying passage. Bless especially the places where I sleep and rest, so that my sleep is protected from nightmares and interference, and my awakening is always accompanied by a sensation of renewal and hope. O powerful Archangel, as your protection extends over my life, teach me also to become more aware of my spiritual responsibility. Help me not to generate envy toward others myself, not to feed negative thoughts, not to create those same dark energies from which I desire to be protected. Guide me toward a life of gratitude, recognizing that every blessing in my existence is a gift that deserves to be celebrated without harmful comparisons or possessive desires. Remind me that true protection begins with the purity of my intentions, the discipline of my thoughts, the integrity of my daily actions. In this way, I will become not only a beneficiary of your protection, but also an active collaborator in the work of bringing more light into this world. Saint Michael, you who see beyond the veil of appearance, reveal to me the divine potential I carry within by showing me my inner light. You will make me less vulnerable to external shadows when I recognize my authentic value. No envy can make me doubt. No curse can make me deviate. No negative energy can diminish my spiritual brilliance. Help me see myself as you see me, not through the filter of human insecurities or social conditioning, but with the clarity of celestial vision that recognizes the divine imprint in every soul. This awareness will be my most powerful shield, my most effective weapon against any attack directed at my self-esteem or my sense of belonging to the divine plan. In this sacred moment, I feel your presence like a column of light extending from earth to heaven. I connect to this light, letting it pass through every cell of my body, every thought in my mind, every emotion in my heart. In this light, every negativity dissolves, every blockage melts away, every wound begins to heal. Your purifying energy washes away layers of accumulated fear, residues of painful experiences, scars of past battles that had weakened my energy field. I feel this purification like a wave of warmth, starting from the center of my being and expanding in concentric circles until reaching the farthest boundaries of my aura. Where this wave passes, order replaces chaos, harmony takes the place of discord, clarity disperses confusion. O Saint Michael the Archangel, extend your protection also to those I love. Surround with your mantle of light my family members, friends, all those who walk beside me in this earthly journey. May no envy penetrate their hearts, no curse touch their lives, no negative energy obscure their connection with the divine. Create around us a network of protection so strong that it becomes a beacon of light for others as well, a safe refuge in a world often disturbed by invisible currents of malevolence. I ask for special protection for the most vulnerable, children still pure who don't know how to defend themselves from low energies, the elderly whose auras might have weakened with years, the sick whose energy systems are already compromised by physical suffering. Wrap them in a cocoon of golden light that no negative influence can penetrate. Glorious Prince of the celestial hosts, I ask you to remain vigilant even when my awareness lowers, when sleep envelops my mind, when momentary distraction might open gaps to negativity. Be the sentinel who never abandons his post, the eye that never closes, the constant presence that guarantees continuous protection against every form of evil, visible and invisible. Protect especially those transition moments when I am most vulnerable. The passage from wakefulness to sleep, moments of illness or physical weakness, periods of intense emotional stress or spiritual crisis. In these moments, double your vigilance. Strengthen your presence, intensify your protection so that I can pass through these delicate phases without suffering interference or energy attacks. Saint Michael. As my voice pronounces this prayer, I feel that every word becomes an arrow of light piercing the darkness. Every invocation of your name is like thunder that makes the foundations of darkness tremble. Every beat of my heart in tune with your divine energy strengthens the wall of protection around my life. There is no envy powerful enough, curse ancient enough, negative energy dense enough that can resist this sacred connection we are establishing. This moment of prayer is not just a ritual or a request, but a creative act that shapes the energetic reality around me. A divine decree that establishes new conditions for my existence. A declaration of freedom from invisible chains that might have held me back until now. O powerful defender, illuminate also my spiritual eyes so I can see beyond appearances when someone approaches with false smiles and hidden intentions. Give me the discernment to perceive the truth when sweet words hide poison. Sharpen my intuition to sense danger when attractive situations conceal energetic traps. Develop my sensitivity to recognize deception before it can harm me. This discernment is not suspicion or paranoia, but divine clarity that allows me to navigate wisely in a world where not everything is as it appears. It is the ability to feel the dissonance between what is said and what is meant, between the outer gesture and the inner intention, between the appearance of light and the substance of shadow. Saint Michael the Archangel, as you did with the ancient dragon, crush under your foot every form of evil that attempts to raise its head in my life. Chain with your divine authority every negative entity that seeks to influence my path. Seal with your celestial power every portal through which low energies might infiltrate my existence. Establish sacred boundaries that no evil force dares to cross. Your victory in heaven repeats now in my earthly life, when with the same divine authority granted to you at the dawn of time. Or negative energy, may it be so by the power of your name, by the strength of your sword, by the glory of God that shines through you as this prayer continues to flow. I feel your presence intensifying. It's as if a divine fire began to burn within me, consuming every residue of fear, every trace of doubt. Every seed of despair that negative energies had planted. This fire does not burn, but purifies, does not destroy, but transforms, does not consume, but regenerates everything it touches. With its sacred flame, I feel this purifying fire expanding from the center of my chest to the periphery of my being, dancing along the energy channels of my body, illuminating zones that had remained in shadow, awakening dormant potentialities, restoring vital circulation where it had been blocked by knots of fear or crystallizations of stagnant energy. O Saint Michael, as your energy works in me, I feel ancient wounds beginning to heal, wounds that had created vulnerabilities in my aura, weak points through which negative energies could infiltrate, childhood wounds that had distorted my perception of myself and the world, wounds from past relationships that had left scars of distrust and fear of abandonment, ancestral wounds passed down through generations of unrecognized suffering. Your light touches all these wounds with the tenderness of a divine healer, bringing warmth where there was frost, movement where there was stasis, integration where there was fragmentation. Every healed wound is a door closed to envy and negative energies, a reinforced link in the chain of my spiritual protection. Archangel of Light, as your presence continues to permeate every aspect of my being, I feel my thoughts becoming clearer. Like a sky freeing itself from clouds after a storm, the mental fogging that often accompanies the influence of negative energies dissolves, giving way to a crystalline lucidity that allows me to see my situation from a higher perspective. I now see clearly where I have been blocked, which repetitive patterns have held me back, which false beliefs have limited my expansion. This clarity is not just intellectual, but a deep understanding that involves every level of my being. mind, heart, body, and spirit aligned in a new coherence that leaves no space for the infiltration of discordant energy. Saint Michael, as your protection stabilizes around me, I also feel a change in the way I perceive time and space. It's as if I were wrapped in a bubble of eternity where the chaos of the external world cannot reach me, where pressures and urgencies lose their power to disturb my inner peace. In this sacred space, protected by your presence, I can finally breathe fully, slow down the frantic rhythm I was accustomed to, rediscover contact with my immobile center. From this center, no envy can uproot me, no curse can make me deviate, no negative energy can influence my decisions or distort my perception of reality. O glorious Saint Michael, make me also a channel of your protection for others. May through my actions, my words, even my silence, your energy flow toward those oppressed by envy, curses, and negative energies. Teach me to be a warrior of light in my small way, repelling darkness not with hatred or fear, but with the firm determination to keep the flame of truth and love burning in every circumstance. Make me become like a beacon in the night for those navigating waters disturbed by envy and malevolence, a stable reference point that reminds them that light is always more powerful than darkness, that truth ultimately prevails over deception, that love is the most transformative force in the universe. Archangel of divine fire, burn with your celestial flame every seed of negativity that might have been planted in my life, seeds of unprocessed pain that might germinate into bitterness, seeds of fear that might grow into paralyzing anxiety, seeds of doubt that might develop into spiritual disconnection. Your flame leaves nothing hidden, nothing unpurified, nothing untransformed. Where your sacred fire passes, only essential truth remains, authentic beauty, original goodness that is our true nature beyond any distortion or contamination. Saint Michael, guardian of celestial portals, I ask you to protect also the doors of my perception, my eyes, that they may see beyond illusion, my ears, that they may distinguish truth from falsehood, my mouth, that it may pronounce only words of light, my heart, that it may feel the divine presence in every beat. Protect these portals through which I interact with the world, so that no envy can infiltrate through what I see, no curse can penetrate through what I hear, no negative energy can contaminate me through what I express or receive. May these channels of connection remain pure and clear, perfect instruments for my spiritual growth and my contribution to the divine plan. O powerful celestial warrior, as your protection envelops every aspect of my life, I also feel a renewal of my inner resources. The chronic fatigue that often accompanies prolonged exposure to negative energies begins to dissolve in its place. I feel a new vitality flowing in my veins, a regenerated strength animating my muscles, a renewed determination sustaining my will. This energy is not ephemeral like that derived from external stimulants, but deep and sustainable, connected to the inexhaustible source of divine life. With this restored energy, I can finally advance toward my highest goals, free from the weight of others' envy, from the chains of past curses, from the debilitating influence of low energies. Saint Michael the Archangel, powerful protector, divine warrior, angel of eternal light, my gratitude toward you is as immense as the heaven you inhabit. Thank you for your immediate response to this invocation. Thank you for your presence that I already perceive as a mantle of protection around me. Thank you for every battle you fight in my name in the invisible realm. My trust in you is as unshakable as the mountain on which you place your victorious foot. My devotion is as sincere as the prayer that springs spontaneously from my heart. My commitment is to renew this sacred connection every day, remembering that spiritual protection is not a one-time event, but an ongoing dialogue, a living relationship that nourishes itself with attention, gratitude, and mutual fidelity. With a heart full of gratitude and spirit renewed by your presence, I conclude this prayer knowing that a profound change has already begun in my life. Envy will no longer find fertile ground around me. Curses will transform into blessings. Negative energies will dissolve like shadows at sunrise under your protection. Saint Michael the Archangel, I now walk with more confident step, deeper breath, lighter heart, Knowing that nothing can truly harm me when I am wrapped in your mantle of divine light, this doesn't mean I won't encounter more challenges or difficulties, but that I will face every situation from a position of spiritual strength and inner clarity, no longer vulnerable to energy attacks that in the past could destabilize me or divert me from my authentic path. Thank you, glorious Saint Michael the Archangel. Your protection is my shield. Your light is my guide. Your strength is my support in every moment of my earthly journey. I feel that every word of this prayer has created an indissoluble bond between us, a sacred channel through which your energy will continue to flow into my life, transforming every darkness into light, every obstacle into opportunity, every apparent defeat into spiritual victory. This bond will not dissolve with the passing of time, will not weaken with distance, will not break with challenges. It is a spiritual pact, sealed with the sincerity of my invocation and the promptness of your response. A sacred agreement that transcends the limitations of the material world. As this prayer comes to an end, I feel that something profound has changed inside and around me. An invisible weight has been lifted from my spirit. A new clarity pervades my thoughts. An indescribable peace envelops my heart. This is the tangible sign that Saint Michael the Archangel has listened, has acted, has transformed. The protection invoked is not an illusion or a vague hope, but a spiritual reality that now permeates every aspect of my existence. I can feel it as a subtle vibration that resonates in harmony with the highest frequency of my being. An invisible but powerful force field that separates me from low influences without isolating me from the natural flow of life. A loving presence that watches over my steps, even when my attention is directed elsewhere. I feel that this protection is not static but dynamic, not rigid but flexible, not imposed but collaborative. It adapts to my continuously evolving needs, expands when I face situations of greater vulnerability, concentrates on areas of my life that require particular attention at a given moment. It is an intelligent and sensitive protection, aware of the nuances of my human experience, respectful of my free will, and at the same time firmly determined to keep me safe from any influence that could distance me from my highest potential. Saint Michael the Archangel, as I approach the conclusion of this prayer, I feel that your protective energies have created a vortex of light around me. This vortex as a cosmic filter that allows positive energies to flow freely into my life while automatically repelling any vibration of envy, curse, or negativity. It is a celestial mechanism of purification that will continue to operate even after the last word of this prayer has been pronounced, keeping my energy field clean and harmonious despite the turbulence of the surrounding world. I commit, O powerful Saint Michael, to do my part to keep this protection active. I will watch over my thoughts so they don't become fertile ground for low energies. I will be attentive to my words because they can be bridges or barriers for spiritual forces. I will take care with my daily actions, knowing that every gesture of love strengthens my protective field, while every act of fear or resentment could create small cracks in its structure. This collaboration between your celestial protection and my earthly awareness will create an invincible shield against any form of evil, visible or invisible. I recognize, glorious Archangel, that this prayer is not just a rite of protection, but also an act of alignment with the highest forces of the universe. Through this invocation, I have consciously chosen to tune into the vibrations of light rather than those of shadow, with the frequencies of love rather than those of fear, with the energy of freedom rather than that of limitation. This conscious choice is itself a powerful form of protection, because it determines what type of experiences and influences I can attract into my reality. Saint Michael, guardian of divine mysteries, I ask you to reveal to my consciousness the spiritual lessons hidden behind the experiences of envy, curse, or negative energies I may have faced. Help me see how these challenges, however painful, may have pushed me to develop inner qualities that would otherwise have remained dormant. Resilience in the face of adversity, discernment amid confusion, compassion born from understanding human suffering in this way. Even the darkest experiences are redeemed and transformed into steps of my spiritual evolution. O powerful protector, now seal this prayer with your celestial seal, so that the intentions expressed here crystallize in the tangible reality of my daily life. May the protection invoked not remain an abstract concept or temporary experience, but become a constant presence, a lasting blessing, a secure foundation on which to build all my future experiences. I feel this seal imprinting itself in the center of my being, like a cosmic promise, a sacred pact, a divine guarantee that no force of envy, curse, or negativity can ever truly prevail against a soul protected by your eternal light. If you too have felt this transformation, if something has moved in your spirit while listening to these words, know that it is not just the end of a prayer, but the beginning of a new path, a path in which the forces of envy, negative energies, and curses lose power day by day, while divine light grows in intensity within you. Saint Michael, the archangel, will continue to watch over, protect, and guide your every step. But remember, this is just the first of many blessings that heaven has prepared for you if you wish to continue this journey of spiritual liberation and protection. The next prayer that now appears on the screen might be the next step in your path of transformation. Click on it and let the gates of heaven open even wider upon your life, bringing new graces, new revelations, new spiritual victories that are just waiting to manifest in your existence.